Well, good evening. This is Gina Tudela. Excuse me. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I live here in Poulsbo, Washington. Anyways, tonight I am going to show you one of the items that you can earn during the months of January and February of 2025. And this is in the celebration booklet. So if you order $60 or more, you're able to choose a free item. And I'm using two items that you can choose that are for $60. One is the Friendly Seagulls stamp set. This is a photopolymer, which means it's a see-through stamp set. Oops, I put these all together so they're clear that you can see through. Never stack them on top of each other because they really do stick. And anyways, and then the other item, actually there's three items. And this is the sequins. I didn't place on the three cards I'm demonstrating tonight, so I'm going to do that as well, doing the coloring. And then, of course, the 6x6 DSP. I'm going to show you easy ways of using this so you don't have hardly any waste. And this is called the Toadstool Gardens. It's a mouthful. anyways, let's get started. Let me move all that out of the way. This is such a cute stamp set. It's got 4 different verses. Hey friend, I love you more than, and you can add chips, or I love you more than French fries. Or you can just leave it blank and just use the images. There's 3 different seagulls, one with his mouth squawking, another one holding French fries, or they could be branches, and then the other one that's turned side view, saying hello or how are you doing. And then of course there's 4 different images. One are birds in the background, fishes that you can put in water or use it as a background image, seashells, and sand. So move that out of the way so I don't get that kind. So this is one of the cards. I didn't color them, but I wanted to show you each one of them first before we get started. I don't want to lose my pieces as I go. And then here's another one. And then here's the first one I'm going to show you. Now those, as I said, I didn't color them, but I'll color them when I get ready to do the demonstration and add the sequins at the end. Hello, Linda. How are you doing? And good evening to you as well, my dear. And scroll up a little bit. Hello, B. Nice to see you on, yeah. I forewarned y'all ahead of time to let you know that I'll be on. I'm going to be on every Monday. That works best with my schedule. Anyways. So, let's get started. Now, you will need a pair of snips, a pair of snips, a bone folder if necessary. It's not needed. I'm using the multi-purpose Tombow glue. I'm also using tear tape. That's to hold the ribbon down. And dimensionals are optional. I didn't use dimensionals when I put these cards together. I just used my Tombow multi-purpose glue. And of course the sequins are self-adhesive, so they have a glue dot on them. And then you do need a paper trimmer. So those are your bare necessity items. And of course you'll need a block to put your stamps on. So, first one. Alright, let me not lose my pieces here. I have everything set up. So I'm using basic white, the thick cardstock. This is measured at 5.5. Yeah, I love tear tape too, B. Anyways, this is measured at 5.5 across, so you would cut it on the 11-inch side. and then it's folded in half. And I just line up the two corners at top and bottom. Then I press in the center. And you can use your finger and go up and then go down, or you can use a bone folder if you have one. Okay, so we'll move this out of the way for the time being because we don't need that. So, this is cute paper. It really is. So this is one side, and then the other side is that side. That's with the Highland Heather, or it's in one of the end colors. I can't remember. But anyways, it's one of those two. So when you see the sample that I did, I use this side. And that side is the other side. But I thought that was a little too much for this one. So, and of course I brought in the Berry Burst cover of cardstock. This is measured at 4 by 5 1/4. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put our multi-purpose glue on the back here. Get it started. There we go. Don't get too close to your edges because you don't want that to seep out. And then what I'm doing is I'm just coming in, and this is a 1-inch strip by 5 1/4, excuse me, 5 1/4. So when I had to cut that 6 by 6 paper, I turned it on the side that would work, so the other images aren't sideways or upside down, and I cut off at 5 1/4, which left a strip that was 6 inches long. So you can use that for the inside of your card or as a layer piece for other stuff. But this one is a 1-inch by 5 1/4. This one is a 3 by 5 1/4. 3 inches by 5 1/4. We're going to go ahead and add our adhesive on the back of here. And you could put some in the center. I usually don't, though. And then we're going to line this up on this side, even with the left side, showing a little bit of the Berry Burst. There we go. And then I'm going to take and mount this piece of this black gingham ribbon. Love this ribbon. And that's in your annual catalog or in the online store. So if any of y'all have a hard time finding items in the annual catalog, you can go on the online store and type in the name of it. So just put black gingham and it will pull it right up for you. So don't try to run through the catalog trying to find it, but it would be in the ribbon section. I'm trying to find the end of the tear tape. So you only need about 2 1-inch pieces. And I don't mount it to the ribbon because it's wider than that ribbon. So I just mount it to the back side. And then I burnish it real good. That means rubbing it. If you have nails, you can just use your nail and pull that up. Or you can use your take your pick tool if you have one. And then we're just going to go ahead and mount this ribbon to here. This is an easy way of adorning your cards with ribbon without having to tie a bow. I know you would love that, Bee. Now that's all set. And I have it pretty much even. That is wonderful. Now we're going to turn this over and go ahead and add our adhesive. I'm just going to go right over the ribbon. And I think I'm going to put a little bit in the center for that one. I'm going to turn this over. And then center this on our white card base. It really makes the colors pop too. There we go. Now that is all done for right now. And this is the lemon lime twist. You could also use the granny apple green. So it's your choice, whichever one that you have. I tried the pumpkin pie and I tried the other one, the Highland Heather, and it just didn't go well with it. So that's why I went ahead with this one, since I had scrap pieces cut. So on this card, I tilted it. On this card, I'm just going to put it right like that, right up against the ribbon. So that way you get a view of both ways. Now you can use dimensionals, but I chose to go ahead and just use the Tombow glue. Of course, I messed that whole side there. Went off the paper. Now you wouldn't want to mount your white piece first before you stamped it, because in case you mess up, you can flip the paper over. So we're going to go ahead and ink up that stamp. And that's the one with the wide mouth, that seagull. And we're using the Memento Tuxedo Black pad. Now when you're stamping with photopolymer and you don't have a pad of paper, you want to use a piece of chipboard or the silicone mat or a piece of chipboard. Whatever you have. Now, those who get paper pumpkin, you get a piece of chipboard every time you get the kit. So save one of those and use that. If not, you can use a cereal box and cut it to a decent size, like a 6x6, and use that to stamp on. The reason why is the photopolymer has no cushion like our real red rubber stamps do. So it needs to have a little bit of form for it. So I'm going to stamp this a little bit downward. There we go. Close that pad up. Move that stamp out of the way. And then we're going to bring in the Berry Burst. Love this color. I was so glad when they brought this color back. My original pad that I had. A lot of your dark pinks and your purples and your reds, after a period of time, they do go rank. So if you see it turning like a funky black colored, or it's got green look to it, that pad is done. So it does need to be replaced. Hey Denise, how are you? So we're just inking up, hey friend. So this way this card can be very useful for any occasion. And that really brings out. I love the bold look of the letters too. Now I will twist this off. So I'll be using that with the Memento Black later. And I always close my pads after I'm done stamping with them, so I don't accidentally put something in it or put my arms in it. So now we're ready to go ahead and mount this piece. And we are going to color a couple of areas on the seagull, not the whole seagull. If you get too much glue on your thing, just spread it around with the nozzle of the tip of the Tombow glue. Now I'm going to bring in the one that I did prior to doing this video, but I didn't color it. So that one's Kitty Wampus and this one's straight, so it gives you an idea. You can go either way. So I'm going to look for my, there's my Pretty in Pink. No, that's light bubble bath. I do want that. And I'm looking for light peach pie and the granny apple green. That's the only colors you need for this card. Or you can use colored pencils. It's your choice. You don't have to have the Stampin' Blends, but these are so easy to color. And what I want to do is I just want to highlight this part right here on the wing, so that kind of ties it into the color in the paper. You don't have to do a whole bunch of coloring. And I'll do that over here as well. There we go. So that's done. Just always make sure you click them where they make the sound. Because if not, they will dry up, because they are alcohol-based markers. And the alcohol-based markers, they do need to be used with a memento pad or any of our ink pads. Do not use it with a StazOn. The StazOn is alcohol-based too. I'm just going to go in there and highlight the beak and the feet. I can't talk tonight. Oh my gosh. Anyways, you want to highlight those. It's very easy coloring. That's the wonderful thing about this. I love when it's a bold line and not real detail, because it's not hard coloring for anybody. And then we're going to use the light bubble bath just to highlight the cheek. Just a soft touch. And that's it. So now we're going to go ahead and grab these beautiful jewels. These are one of the ones that you can earn during celebration. They're called Purple Adhesive Back Sequins. And as I mentioned earlier, they do have the glue dot already connected to them. Now when you pick them up, you want to use your take your pick tool or your paper snips, whichever one that you have. And I'm going to bring in a dark pink, a white, and I usually do what you call a triangle base. That goes around the picture, but it doesn't take away from the focal point. So that's what I did. So when you do this, you just go up underneath, make sure you pick up the glue dot. And then a white one. If I had it on the paper, y'all couldn't see it, so that's why I left it on the card. And then the light pink one. And I'm just putting it over here where it's not covering out the image. Okay? So that just gives you an idea of how to do those. I didn't think I needed these seagulls, but I am changing my mind the more I see them stamped. Very cute. Well, wait till the next two, Denise. This is a stamp set that we can't purchase. We can only earn it. And the good thing is they can be used year-round for any occasion. So that was one of the reasons why I chose it first when I was able to choose. I chose that, this paper, and the sequins in December when I was able to order early. Okay, so let's put those to the side. And let's go with this one. So this one is taking the paper, so I'll show you that. So, just in case I didn't give you the measurement on this one, this is, hold up, I think it's 2.5 by 2 3/4 of the 2.5 by 2 3/4 of the key lime twist, or lemon lime twist, and it's 2.5 by 2 3/4. But you can also use a granny apple green if you don't have that color, because both of those go good with it. And then the white, of course, is a 1/4 inch smaller. It's a 2 1/4 by 2 1/2 of the basic white. And both of these are the same size, except this is the berry burst. So 2 1/2 by 2 3/4, 2 1/4 by 2 1/2 on the basic white. And this is a 1 inch strip by 5 1/4. This is 3 by 5 1/4. The opposite side is that side, which I said I'm not going to use that side. So I like that because it goes great with the seagulls. Okay. So to make this dot triangle, you would cut it at 3 by 5 1/4, then turn it in your cutter, line it up from the point here to here, and then cut that into a triangle. So you'll have some with the image up here in this corner, and some with the image down here on this corner. So you'll see that when you see the third card, it was going up here in that corner. So when you flip it over, that's where this piece goes for the third card. So there's no waste to your 6 by 6 paper. A lot of people say, oh, I get that paper, I love it, but how do I cut it? Well, I just answered that question. You do have to be very systematic about the cutting of those pieces so you don't have hardly any waste whatsoever. Here's another 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 basic white thick cardstock. I use the thick white when I'm putting layers on. If you're just doing a quick note card with just a piece of DSP and a message, you can use your regular basic white. But if you're going to be putting multiple layers on, like I'm showing you here tonight, you do need a thick card base so it holds up. Okay? So, before we start with that, I went ahead and folded that in half and just showed you that you don't have to have the bone folder to fold it. Next, you're going to go ahead and mount this piece to this piece. Okay? So, I'll show you that. And we have all different types of adhesive, but this is the most economical and easier to use. The dry adhesive tape in the dispenser, a lot of people have trouble with it, getting jammed. The fine tip glue, another problem is it dries on the top of them because they forget to put the pin back in and close it. So, for economical reasons, this is why I use this one, because a lot of people have no trouble. I just remind them, don't have it standing up like this because it will dry at the top. Just as long as you lay it down on the side, you can leave the lid off for a little bit. Just don't leave it off longer than 20 minutes. You want to put the seal back on it, or just slide it in. You don't have to screw it, just slide it in and keep it away from the air. So there's that one. Now, we're going to mount that to this side, and then we're going to mount this piece over here. So I'll show you how to do that. We'll go ahead and add our glue to this side. And I usually go in about a 1/4 inch inside the paper. I don't usually put any in the center when it's just a lightweight DSP. It's not necessary. But some people do, so it's based on you. Because especially when you're trying to get it situated and you don't have it centered, if you don't have the glue in the center, it's easy to pull it up real quick and get shifted. Yeah, I hear you, B. Me too. Alrighty. Now, listen. So that's that side. We're going to go ahead and there we go. Got the glue on there. Now this one I noticed I'm not going to have a gap. So I must have not cut enough off of it. So I'm just going to overlap it. Just a touch. There's no rhyme or reason. I think the other one I used a scrap piece that was cut off. And definitely I grabbed the wrong piece. I'll find that out when I'm prepping for my classes in the morning and tomorrow night. So I messed up when I cut the paper. I got them mixed up. But that's all right. It works out. The only difference, there's not a white gap here. And this was a cut-off piece from the, when I cut it off at the 6-inch area at 5 1/4. So this is probably 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. So, but that's all right. It's no biggie. All right. on this one here, I mounted this one down here at the bottom. So I'm going to bring this one up even here to this pink edge. Okay? And then that way it can be there. So it just shows you two different ways of doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and use the glue here on this berry burst piece of paper. Move it up just a touch. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp the seagull that has the french fries in its mouth. And it's so cute. So these stamps have already been primed. I just twisted them off on the paper. That's why I don't have to stamp them off. Now I'm going to do this. And you always count to 5 when you're using the photopolymer stamp, so that way you know you have a firm, solid image. Okay. Paper snips threw them away. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and stamp the saying, "Hey, friend." Now, I know your pinks, your purples, and your reds will stain your photopolymer. There's no way of getting around that. Bring this down closer to the bottom because we're going to put the ribbon across. I had it too high up on the other one, you'll notice, and I had to cover up the feet with the ribbon, which is not what I wanted to do. Twist that off. So there is that. Okay? So now we're going to need some tear tape to hold the ribbon. My sweet kitty is sitting up here in the window watching me stamp. I was wondering where she was at. So we're going to put the ribbon across here. So you know to mount it there. And you want to burnish that real good so that way you can peel that off. And I forgot to tear off 2 pieces. Okay. There's the end. Just feel for it. That's what I'm doing. Because it always throws you off. Okay, there's that one. You want to burnish that real well. And you just want to peel that up. And peel that up. This is what she likes to try to eat, the kitty. She loves the backing, even though she's not supposed to. And if your ribbon is curling up like this, that's the side you want to face downward. So that way it will lay flat. And this is the way the ribbon should have been on the first card that I did, but I didn't stamp the seagull up high enough, as you see here. And so therefore I had to cover the feet up. See the difference? Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and add the multi-purpose glue on here. And then mount that to the card. The other good thing about the glue, it does give you time to get it situated. And as long as you don't get too close to the edge, you can always move it back and forth. So it's very, very kind in that way. All right, so remember the 3 colors? It is light peach pie, light bubble bath, and light granny apple green, or you can use watercolor pencils. So, anyways, so first off, we're going to highlight those wings like I did earlier. It's that piece facing you, so he's got 2 sets, one on either side. And I know they're not that color. I know they're gray. But this is a colorful card, so I didn't want to ruin it. And I didn't want to use gray, even though we have it. Oh, that's right. He's got French fries in his mouth. I gotta use the lemon lolly. I'm doing his feet. You can't see his feet on the other one, so I ain't gotta worry about coloring those. They're covered up by the ribbon. So, light lemon lolly. And I always use the writer's tip unless I'm coloring a big area. There we go. There we go. And now, let's highlight his little cheeks. He's a happy camper with those French fries. And he's winking on the other side, so we don't have to worry about that. I'll move those pans out of our way. And now we get to add our embellishment. Now on this one here, where's my paper strips? I put them up. So this way you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and go with this light pink here. And put one there. I'll put a darker pink. I'm going to bring it over here. Try to center it. And then this pink I'm going to put on one of the flowers so it stands out. So it does that triangle effect. And I'll do the same thing over here on this side. And they do have two different sizes in the sequence, small and large. And the light pink. I had to look to see which one I used. I used white one on the other one. I gotta make sure I have enough for everybody. So there is that. So there is a card done two different ways, whether it's 3/4 of an inch or 1 inch wide. And whether you say your image is down below or a little bit higher. So it just gives you a great idea. Thank you, Taylor. My son who's in Hawaii. Okay, so here is our last one. And it just shows you a different way. So see, remember I was talking about that? That's the opposite side. Of this paper. Because when you cut it a triangle, you can't turn it like this because the paper's upside down. It doesn't do you any good. So I'm showing you a version where we're going to use this nice rainbow effect, which really brings out the colors here. And then I used the lemon lime twist here, but you really can't see the image. So I'm going to suggest you use the Granny Apple Green, or you can use Versamark, because then it will really stand out. So, okay, so let's get started. So we're using lemon lime twist, and this is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now, before you go to put anything on, you want to do your stamping first. So I'm going to line my paper up. And I think I'm going to just go ahead and stamp that background in the black, because it really doesn't show up in the green. But you have it, it's in the green anyways. This says chips, which is what they call French fries in Europe. You're going to stamp one set of two. They're two different stamps, but I mounted them together on one block, which makes it so much easier. And of course, my paper moved. And you're going to stamp your bottom 1 second. And then you're going to stamp in between them both. That's the benefit when you can see through your stamps. There you go. Excuse me. Now we can mount this piece here. So this is, if you messed it earlier, this is a 3 by 5 1/4. To get the triangle effect, which was on this side, you want to line it up in your cutter at this point and cut it across, which makes 2 triangles. So this way you have 2 different sides of the paper. One be mounted this way, and the other one was mounted that way. Okay? So you have no waste on your 6 by 6 paper. And those 1/2 inch strips that you cut off that are by 3/4 of an inch by 6, you can use those, which I did for preparing for class tomorrow. There we go. Just make sure you get it lined up at the top and your side here. And now we're going to go ahead and put the glue on the back side of this one. If you're making multiple cards, remember to take your time and do one step at a time for each one. Do not try to do one card at a time. You could do all your DSP gluing together like I did right here after you cut it. See, I ain't got it up there enough. And that's the benefit of the wet glue. Up at the top. There we go. I saw I had too much hanging down on this side. I'm keeping my glasses on, but I don't need them up close. That's the sad part. Yes, they are, Linda. They are truly cute. And I had one of the ladies that comes on Tuesday night, Deb. She sent me a message this morning saying, I can't find any kids' cards. I said, well, we've done them. Images that could be used for kids, thank you cards, or just thinking of them. So I sent her quite a few pictures, and I said, well, I'll put these aside for you, so if you can't find yours, go ahead. If you have a little bit of overhang, you can always trim it, but it's really not necessary. I'm not going to trim it. But let's go ahead and fold our card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5. It's your normal A2 size card that is on a portrait style. Now we can mount this on here. And that black ink looks fine with that black and white gingham too, so it really doesn't clash. But like I said, if you didn't want black over there, you can use the Granny Apple Green or Versamark. Now we're going to go ahead and line this up, even it best as possible. Remember, we're our worst judge. That's for sure. We are. We criticize ourselves too much. And most people will not see the flaw, so don't even think about it. Now this one is this is smaller, and we're going to do this as a horizontal. So this is a 2 1/4 by 2 1/2. And this is a 2 by 2 1/4 basic white. And it's done on a horizontal way. So I'm going to show you this. We're going to go ahead and stamp the image first because we have to mount these two and then put the ribbon on and tie it in a soft knot. So let's stamp our cute bird who's looking to the right to say hello or happy birthday. It can be whatever sentiment you want. I didn't put a sentiment on the front of this one because you can make it whatever you want. That's the good thing. It's even a great get well card because it's such a cheery color. Move that out of the way. We're going to let that dry for a moment before we go and mess it up and smear the ink. We don't want to do that. Not at all. So, let me add the glue here. There we go. Now I want the ribbon to cover the face of the seagull, so that's why I chose to stamp him or her to the left, so I could put the ribbon on the right. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and take this. Make sure it's not twisted. It's not. It felt like it at first, but maybe I had twisted it earlier. So what you do is you just go, you hold this one down, you take this one, you go under, and then this one, you put your middle finger over it, and then hold that one over, and the last one goes over, and tuck it through the hole. That gives you a soft knot. Of course, it twisted on me. See? I felt it, knew it, I did everything right. I can hear Bee laughing right now. That'd be me. No, no, no. All right. First one goes over and under. Okay. I just put my middle finger there so that way I hold the knot down. And that last one, it goes over and through the hole. There we go. There's a soft knot. You don't have to make it hard. It is going to just kind of hang like that. And then you're going to take your paper snips. And I have a pair of separate scissors because all my paper snips don't cut ribbon anymore because people cut them accidentally with paper. So now they have an orange handle, which these are the ones I keep by my video room. They don't get ruined. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to go ahead and mount this on the card, and then we'll color and glue. Yeah, you can leave the ribbon on the spool too, Bee. I already had tied it around while it was on the spool. That's why I knew how much to cut, honey. I usually leave it on the spool for the people, because a lot of them have a hard time cutting it with a smaller end. So I just leave it on the spool and tell them just to do it that way. So it just shows you the variation here, because I flip the paper over. This is one side of the other side of that rainbow paper. So you'll see in a moment when I bring the other one in. So, but see, this one lays flatter. This one's propped up. So, anyway, so let's go ahead and color. We're going to use those same colors. Light granny apple green, light peach pie, and light bubble bath. We don't need the yellow because there's no French fry in the mouth. So, of course, you know that the light bubblegum pink is the cheek. And this is the beak and the feet, the peach pie. And if you have pumpkin pie, you can use that too. It's a little darker, but that's fine. Or you have, what's the other one? Flirty Flamingo will work as well, because it has an orange colored pink look. There's the feet there. But very cheery cards, that is for sure. And then we're using the green again, the light granny apple green, just for that wing versus using a gray. You can use a gray if you want, but I just wanted to use it in the color scheme. And you see how the images really stand out in the tuxedo versus over here? So, and now we're bringing our embellishments and use our paper snips. All right. I think I put one of these bright ones on the first one, didn't I? Yep, I did. So I don't want to do that. So let's do that over here. And then use a white one here. There we go. And then use a prettier pink over here where the diagonal line is. But remember, this is your card. You can put your embellishments wherever. So there is that. So I'll bring them both up closer to the camera so you can really see. And you see the opposite side of the paper. This is the polka dotted, the other one's the rainbow. So it just shows you the versatility of the paper and how it all coordinates together. Makes it so much easier. So thank you for taking the time to watch. Anyways, be sure to share this with your friends. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator, but I don't reach out to them. If they have their own personal demonstrator, I always encourage them to order from their demonstrator. Those who know me, they know how to contact me. So enjoy, take care, and see you next Monday. But I always will set up a reminder. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.